And hello, good people of the internet. This is Tommy Kelly, and this, of course, is the Tommy Kelly podcast. And we are yet again out and about. Not exactly a field trip this time, though. It's just I'm outside a hotel, just outside the lovely town of Drogheda. And my wife Vanessa is inside getting some acupuncture done to help her with her pregnancy. It's coming near the end of that now. And so this is what this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be about not me looking back, my expectations and my thoughts about becoming a father. Speaking as a parent, I get to say that now. Speaking as a parent, and then you get to say whatever nonsense you want. Speaking as a parent, I think that the political climate in this country is absurd. Don't know why speaking as a parent has any bearing on any of these things. But anyway, so yes, out and about. So again, we are mobile podcasting because it's something I reckon I'm going to have to do when the baby comes and when the new school term starts, because there's going to be 10 kids now in the preschool that's also attached to the house, and another teacher, because Vanessa's obviously going to be taking some time off work. So there's that noisiness to add to, as well as a child, and Riggs the cat, who's become exceedingly noisy recently. But I'm sitting here, and it's basically, we drive up here, she goes in, falls asleep for an hour and gets needles stuck into her, and I'm trying to catch up on some work because there's not enough hours in the day for Tommy to get all the things he needs to do. So I've just recorded 2 videos for the 40/7 video course, so that I have a buffer in case, because Vanessa's 37 weeks, 37 weeks tomorrow, as I record this. So at any stage it could be going. And so, yeah, becoming a father and becoming a parent and all that. But it's odd over the last couple of weeks because it's coming near the end, and there's kind of that winding down where we had gone into doctors' offices. Vanessa got gestational diabetes. Well, she was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. I'm questioning that diagnosis, as everything, all of her blood tests and all of her things have been perfect since, apart from the initial diagnosis. And when we went into the hospital to do the initial diagnosis, she was tested for diabetes because her father has type 2 diabetes. So basically anyone whose relatives have diabetes, they test you in pregnancy because it's some sort of hereditary, or you might have some sort of factors going on into it. Now, the only problem was that when we did the test, when we went in first, the midwife that was dealing with us couldn't get enough of Vanessa's blood for the first test. So basically you fast all night, and then you come in the morning and to test your blood to see what your blood sugar level is. Then they give you the sugariest drink in the entire world, and to test it an hour and then 2 hours afterwards to see how your body's coping with sugar. So the first test, which was the fasting test, Vanessa didn't give an awful lot of blood. Vanessa always is able to give blood easily because she gives blood, and she's had a lot of tests and stuff, and everything's always been fine with giving blood. But this midwife in particular couldn't get much blood out. And then she said something very odd. She said, "Sir, if I don't get enough blood here, what I'll do is I'll mix it with the blood of the second test." And I thought she was joking, because I was going, there's no way anyone who works with blood or blood tests or any sort of medical faculty would possibly mix a blood test over 2 things when you're doing a blood sugar test. Never mind doing any sort of test, but particularly when you're doing something with a blood sugar test. So you're going to mix a fasting state with a sugary state. Anyhow, long story short is Vanessa's resting blood sugars were very high. So I rang up the hospital, as Tommy does, and goes, did you mix the blood? Because you were taking... And she actually mentioned it again to Vanessa. And Vanessa goes, I thought you would have said something. I goes, I literally thought she was joking. I didn't think anyone would be that kind of thing. And but it's just because she then said it to Vanessa again later, or mentioned maybe 2 more times or something like that she was going to mix it. And she goes, no, I definitely didn't mix any of the blood. And so we did the test ourselves the very next day, the exact same test, and Vanessa's bloods were fine. So it's questionable diagnosis. But when we got talking to different people and in the different doctors, and we got assigned to the diabetic clinic. And the doctor basically, the endocrinologist basically said, look, you may or may not, like, I know you're questioning this diagnosis and all that kind of thing. And he was the only one who kind of really said anything other than address it. No, it's all good. It's all fine. Of course, they have to cover their own behinds. But he was like, look, it doesn't matter if you have it or you don't have it. You're going to get an awful lot more care and more monitoring in the diabetic clinic than you would if you were just a normal, outpatient, normal pregnancy. I suppose we were going, yeah, well, I suppose see that. But the downside of it, of course, was that Vanessa had to blood test 7 times a day. So she's ruined her fingers with needles. Excuse me. With taking blood tests, and that's very a lot of hassle. And she had to be super careful about her diet and super limiting. And she had to eat stuff that she doesn't normally eat. Like Vanessa has like one of the best diets you will ever come across. She's a really clean eater. She's really healthy with her food choices and all of those kind of things. And but she just doesn't like certain things. She doesn't like pastas. She doesn't like rices. She doesn't like those kind of things. But she would like her big thing is fruit. She loves fruit. And it's interesting what ended up spiking blood sugar and what didn't. Fruit didn't at all spike her blood sugar level, which is one of the things that people are always commenting about. Fruit is just as bad as if you have a Mars bar. Well, not in Vanessa's case. It absolutely didn't spike her blood sugar level, even the fruit that's meant to, the high sugar ones. What did spike it was zero sugar drinks, which the dietitian absolutely wouldn't believe. Yet when we rang up and we're talking about it to the other section, they said, yes, we've heard of these things before. And Vanessa's father actually, some sugar-free drinks will spike his blood as well. It's the cheaper ones that spike his blood, the dear one, like if you're getting your Lidl or your Aldi's or your United States equivalent, whatever that is. Rather than your actual Coke Zeros or stuff like that. But it was Rock Shandy Club Zero, so it had like massively spiked her. When I say massively spiked for Vanessa, like not in, it wouldn't be a normal, if it was going by what we hear about other people's numbers, hers are still quite low even when it's spiked. Brown bread spiked it quite high. And what peanuts did once, or nuts, not cashews or something, which was odd. But the dietitian was also saying that stress can play a large part of it, and the endocrinologist wasn't having any of that at all. He didn't. He was like, you have to pretend like you're in prison and you eat exactly the same food every day for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, and snacks, and it's all exactly the same. Prison. The dietitian was just couldn't handle that. She was like, that's just a thing that needs to be thrown away. So, you're getting different conflicting kind of, what's the words, advice from different people. But they were all, have to say, very nice, other than the second dietitian, who was really nasty and not nice at all. She was very aggressive, very hostile, talked down to Finesse an awful lot, and just really wasn't a nice person at all, which is very odd. Very in your face, very hostile. That's just simple as that. And like passive aggressive, because I was saying about the diet, drinks, whatever, I just wouldn't have it, and goes, well, that's just not possible. This fucking shitty thing that people do that pushes my buttons big time. But other than that, everyone was fine. So yeah, so why did I get off on that tangent? Yeah, like so basically, like she didn't get any sickness or any of those things early on in the thing. So the pregnancy has been quite good. All has been well, and we're getting extra monitoring, and we're getting extra scans and all that we wouldn't have. So yes, I know I'm back to where I was. The reason why it's starting to come real is that when we went back to the endocrinologist last time, he says, we're fine now, we don't have to see you again. And the dietitian says, a couple of weeks ago, we don't have to see you again. So we've done our last kind of visits with various different doctors. So now it's literally the home stretch, and in we go. So we have one more appointment tomorrow, and that's just with the prenatal doctor themselves. I say themselves because it's been, it's not the same doctor you go to every time. There's obviously a doctor who's over the clinic, and then there's a group of doctors working under them, and each of them have a sidekick who's obviously training too. So we've had a female doctor and a male doctor. We've two female doctors and a male doctor who's the prenatal thing, but all of them have been really nice. We have to go to see them, and that'll be the last. I think the last. It all depends. No, it's not the last. It depends on what way they want to go with it from then on. I think then we might see our own doctor next week, and then back them if she hasn't gone already. I'm not. It's we'll know tomorrow. I'm totally guessing, but it is all the countdown, and so it's been on my mind to start thinking about being a father more than anything. More than before, because it's always been, oh well, you're going to be a father, and you're having a kid and all that when the pregnancy. There's not much escaping it when you see your wife and she's getting bigger. You know, don't tell her I said that. and but when it's come to the end, it's like this is going to happen. So Finesse is kind of freaking out a wee bit about the labour and about the different things, because it's that thing people do, which is not helpful. Is that as soon as they're talking, to a pregnant person, or when you tell them your wife's pregnant, they initially tell you the horror stories and how horrible it is, and what they're tortured and what they had to go through, and no one tells you, the good thing. And one of the things that I found about, so we wanted to have kids for a long while, and it just didn't work out for us. But anyone whoever I've come across who ever talked about their kids, all they did was talk negatively about their kids and how much it drives them insane, and even to the point of it sounds like they hate their children to an awful lot of extent. And I know people are venting on social media, which is mostly where this was coming from and all that. But I said it to a couple of people at one point. It goes, you are aware that you come across as someone who hates their kids, and because all you do is literally complain about them, and they were horrified by it. And but like knew I was being right when when they thought about it and stuff. And they're saying, oh well, it is hard and all that, but it's worth it. But most people then, when they come across the, say you're pregnant or thing, it's they'll start telling you horror stories and start telling you all the things. So it's very easy to get kind of caught up in feeling like, rather than it being a great occasion, something that this is now, that thing people say, oh, it's all over now. That's it. It's all over now. Your life's over. And I've had a number of people say that to me. Your life is over because you've had a child. It's all going to be different. Oh, you'll never sleep again. Oh, it's a terrible, like how many children have been born in the world, and many people have been parents who, life didn't change, or, who actually slept again. And I think people would go, oh, it's all changed, whatever. Like, I'm 41. How much is my life dramatically going to change, really? Like, I mean, obviously I know it's going to change. You have a child, all those kind of things. But it's like, I don't really leave the house that much anyway. So it's not just, what do I now change that I have to leave the house an awful lot more? People say, oh, you won't be doing this, you won't be doing the drawing, or you won't be doing that. Because, well, why do people stop working when they have children? Like, if I worked in the office, as an accountant, would I have to stop working now that I have a child? It seems ridiculous that you think that I would stop my job. It's because people don't accept being an artist as a job. They think it's just kind of like it's a hobby you do. Um, and most people, when you say I'm an artist, the very first thing they will think, so you're on social welfare, so you don't actually have a job. You're not, and it's weird. Like when people, because a couple of friends have said to me like things like off the cuff, or like, "Oh, how much you get in the dole?" and stuff. I don't know. I'm not in the dole. To just assume that you're, you're not working. It's like, well, I have a nice house. I pay my mortgage. I have some nice toys. I have a great computer and all these things. What do you think I'm doing that in the dole? I don't understand. It's just people don't seem to understand that you can do stuff other than, the standard jobs for a living, So it's like, um, to say, oh, you'll have to give all that, because it's seen as if it's a hobby, as if something you get to do when you're, because you've no responsibilities, you get to be an artist. Ooh. But like, if I stop drawing, then who's paying for the baby? Who's paying for the mortgage? Who's paying for these things? And it's also like, oh, your life's going to change. And it's like, if you're 20 and you have a baby, I think your life is probably going to change. Or if you're 25 and you're out clubbing or you're out partying every weekend, you know, and you don't have a job, or you're not settled down, or you're not married, or you're not living with your partner, or you don't have a house, or all these things, then I think, yeah, your life is dramatically going to change. And probably you will feel that negatively. But I think when you're in your 40s, when, you've been married X amount of years, I think it's 7 years this month, actually. And we were together for a lot long before that. We've been living with each other for like a decade, so that's not going to change. That all of that kind of things. So while I am aware of that, it's obviously a huge change, and there will be many different things to my routine and to my life that will change. I don't think it's for for mostly for the negative. Like I think a lot of the things that are change I already have in place. And if you have kids and if you're talking to someone who doesn't have kids and their things, don't tell them your horror stories. Don't start this because it only adds to worry and to stress. And I don't understand why you would do that because you're not doing it to. It's not done in a prepare you way. You need to prepare it. It's done in a kind of a, like a jibing way. In a you've had it handy. You're fucked now, mate. It's done in a kind of a not aggressive, but like a kind of an aggressive kind of way. And then, of course, women who have had babies tell Vanessa all of the horror stories of labour and all the trauma that people went through and the nightmares. And oh, it was, so tough. I'm sure it was. But we met a few people. One woman in particular, when we were in one of the hospital visits, and she was just going, just don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to anyone who tells you anything because it'll only worry you, and none of it's true. That everyone has different experiences, and she was telling us about how easy it was for her, and how great it was to have kids, and that life didn't change that dramatically, and that all of these things and the bits that did was awesome. And so that was great to hear coming from a flood of people telling you, how shit your life was about to become, essentially. And a couple of people, older people from around where we live, would stop and talk to us, and they would have the same. And it goes, don't be listening to anyone. It's brilliant. Having kids was the best thing that I ever did. It's wonderful. I have grandkids now, and it's amazing. It's brilliant. And so that's kind of good, and that was encouraging and stuff like that. But I'm not one for listening to people too much anyway, but that kind of stuff can play into the back of your mind and can interrupt your patterns and can change your vibration, man. And particularly easier for me because I don't have to endure massive amount of pain or my body did change over the course of the pregnancy, but that was more to do with lack of exercise and diet, I assume, than any sort of hormonal change or a baby growing inside me. But Vanessa, of course, has a baby inside her, and that has to come out, and that's going to be painful. And there's the complications of not complications, but the idea of like, you know, is it going to be induced? Is it or not induced? But is her, is it going to go well? Is it, are they going to have to come in with things? She doesn't want to take painkillers, so she's going to have an epidural. The people will be talking about the gas in there. People will be talking about um being induced in this oxytocin, is it? Oxycontin, oxytocin drip, and it's meant to be a nightmare. Other people say it's fine, and the gel and sweeps and all of these things. And, it's just, I can only imagine the nightmare that her brain is putting her through, as well as the hormonal madness that's gone through her body. And then you also have the thing of that she's been, hasn't been on her own for the last 9 months at all because she had, baby inside her. And so that's going to change where that closeness, that's, I'm sure there's an issue there where once it's out, it kind of becomes everyone's rather than just hers. And I don't know, that's me thinking that. I don't know if she even thinks that at all. And then after all those things, when you're worried about labour, I'd be thinking about, I have to have cash together because I never have cash anymore because everything is digital now, and I get, I don't get paid in cash. Everything's paid through, PayPal or banks and stuff. So I never have cash in me ever. But the car park in the hospital only takes cash. So I have to, I've like 40 quid or 50 quid sitting in my wallet this last couple of weeks, just in case at any second we had to go. So that would be one less thing I had to stress about. Because the last thing I would need is we're leaving the hospital now with baby, whatever. Yeah, I have to get to a bank to get cash, and it's just that would be playing on my mind. Little simple things like that to try and, take care of and be done. Where you have so you're not worried about those kind of things, and you have bags packed and all of these things that you have to get around. I'm kind of coming to the end here because I'm running out of time, and probably have a lot more to say about all this. But I'm excited and I'm calm about the whole thing. And the calmness, in a sense, is making me a wee bit nervous because I think I should be nervous about this thing, but I'm not. There's a sense of there's serenity around me. And I assume that's because I'm not going to be going through the physical hell of it. While I'll be there. But I don't know. I am excited. I want it to happen now at this point, I wanted to let's get this going, and people will be saying, oh, the first 4 weeks or the first 6 weeks is hell. And then some said the first 6 months is hell. It's got stop telling me things. But if it is going to be, come on, let's do it. Let's get to it. Let's do this thing. So it'll be interesting to see. I've always been very hesitant about talking about, oh, when I'm a parent, I'll do this and do that, because you have no idea. You look at other parents and go, well, I won't do that. That's not something I will do with my children. But how do you know? How the fuck do you know until you're in that situation? You go, oh, look at these people and their kids just sitting in front of the television all day. Oh, rat-a-tat-boom and other noises, as Eddie's already said. But it's like, I don't know. I obviously don't want to do that, but you don't know until you're in there, and what sort of parent you're going to be, what you're going to allow, what you're not going to allow. I have ideas of what I would like to be and them kind of things, but I have to go with it too and just kind of take it easy and all those things. So I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm more excited than nervous. I'm calm and serene, yet at the same time, there's this, this huge thing in the future. But it's not like, when you're thinking, oh, I have my driving test to do next week. It's not that kind of, it's not a dread, even though it's tough. And even though it will be tough for Vanessa, it'll be tough for me looking at it. But it's interesting that it's not a dread, or it's not giving that most of the feedback I've gotten from people is to expect, the worst part of your life ever. Which is so odd, because people go, having kids is the best thing I ever did. Yeah, but, it's not the way you talk most of the time. It's not the way you've been talking to me. But anyway, I'm going on and on a bit too much about the whole thing. I'm repeating myself, as is my wont of an evening. So yeah, Tommy's going to be dad. Could happen at any stage. Sitting in a car park, wife getting acupuncture. Life about to dramatically change. Hopefully for the best and for the good. And I'm hoping that it's for the good, and that all the things that people have been telling me, it's just people and, like to be heard and like to be given out. I know it'll be tough, but I don't think it'll be horrible. And I don't think it's something to be dreaded. I think I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for it. And we'll see how it goes. So yeah. So that was the Tommy Kelly podcast. And if you enjoyed that, then check out TommyKellyPodcast.com, and you can find a host of other podcasts that I've done. Most of them aren't about being pregnant or your wife being pregnant. Most of them are something to do with either chaos magic, personal development, me trying to sort out my own shadow and my own issues in the hope that, I was going to say in the hope that other people find it valuable, but it's mostly in the hope that I find it valuable. I have to be very selfishly honest about that. So yeah, check it out. Tommy Kelly Podcast, loads of them there. If you go to adventuresinwoo.com, that's basically the hub. That's where everything is, and you will find, stuff about me. You'll find all the blog posts. There's a magic grimoire. I say this all the time. There's a magic grimoire. There's a magic primer, which will, if you're new to magic, that'll tell you everything that you would need to get started in it, for about sigils, servitors, chaos magic, banishing, all those kind of things. The 40 Servants stuff is there, and there's a 40 Servants video course, which you can click on, and you will find all the information you would possibly want about the 40 Servants there, including how to use them for free. Or if you want to spend money on them, to spend money on them by getting the decks, the different versions of the decks, the grimoire of the 40 Servants, all the cards, t-shirts, and there's even a mug. If you would like to support me with your monies, then you can go to TommyKelly.com, which is TOMMIE, and that'll bring you to my Patreon page, where you can sign up with 4 levels, different amounts of money, which gets you different amounts of rewards. And certain different rewards, there's things like there's PDFs of the Grimoire 40 Servants, the digital download of the deck, there's the PDFs of my comics, There is access to a thing called The Journey, which is a year-long shadow working meditation examination of our souls that we've been doing since January, but you can start at any time. And we do weekly rituals where we have even an astral temple, and we all, sort of sync up around the world, and we send each other good vibes. And that's going well. That's new, and that's evolving and turning into something really cool. And other stuff. You get the podcast a couple of days earlier. You get exclusive audios and videos and all those things. Check it out, TommyKelly.com, or just search me on Patreon and you will find it there. And that's about it. I'm on social medias at Tommy Kelly Artist on Facebook, but I'm pretty much at Tommy Kelly on everything else. Instagram, Twitter, 500px. I don't really use it anymore. All the things. If you want to find me in anything, it's Tommie, Kelly spelled normally with a Y. And yeah, that's it. AdventuresMovie.com is the place you find all the links to everything. So if you only remember one of these things, remember that one. So, good people of the internet, this is pre-recorded, so God knows what my life has become in the meantime. Since it could be exactly the same, and I could be just sitting here next week recording going, it still hasn't happened. But it feels like it's about to happen soon. So what was my blessing for you good people of the internet this week? May all the stories and may all the things that people tell you, may they be positive, and most importantly, may they be true. May they not be them telling you stuff just to make themselves feel better or more accomplished. May they bless you, and may they say things only for your benefit and to build you up and to make you stronger and a better person, and not to break you or to bring you down or to do other equally shadowy, nasty work. So have a great and wonderful week, and I will talk to you all very soon. And good people of the internet, be well.